I mean, there are nights, I'm crying myself to sleep.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Rejection is a Bitch podcast. My name is Melon. I'm a life and relationship coach, and I partner with divorcees that are facing rejection, and I help them discover true acceptance from within. The topic for today is, did MEAGAN Good reject DEVON Franklin? If you're new to the podcast, don't be alarmed. I'm not using celebrities as a barometer or something that we should all measure up to, but I do want to use them as an example of what can happen to a marriage when you have two people that are just not fit to be together, of two people that was doomed from the beginning. But before we get into that, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my videos here. Everyone hit the like button. Everyone hit me in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this topic. The channel is growing at a pretty good pace, but I definitely would love for each and every one of you to share this with at least one person and help me to grow the channel even more. But let's get into today's topic.
I was going to ask, because you talked about heal. Have you healed? Because I know your breakup was very public.
Sure.
Have you got a chance to heal? And how are you doing mentally?
Mentally, I'm doing much better, But the process to that, like I can sit here before all of you and have this interview and be calm and introspective and all that, but that comes from a process, I mean, there are nights, I'm crying myself to sleep.
Now, I don't claim to be Nostradamus or Miss Cleo or anybody that's a prophet or anything of that nature. However, I did predict that Devon and MEAGAN was soon to be over a few months before their relationship ended. And if you don't believe me, you can take a look at the video here or here, whichever one. But take a look and you can see what I said. But the gist of what I said is I saw signs of the way she began to dress more provocatively. And you can see there's vivid disrespect to the profession that he has, to the vocation that he has, which is being a minister. Even if he's not a minister, he was definitely someone who portrays himself as a spiritual person to the world. And yet he met MEAGAN that way. And that's really the gist of what I want to talk about today. He met MEAGAN that way, so he shouldn't have an expectation or even ask that she would tailor those things down. I'll venture to say that he never asked her to tailor that down. And let's be clear, she never truly dressed like a nun or anything like that, but she definitely scaled it back a little bit towards the beginning of their relationship and marriage. And then towards the end, you seen, hey, she's showing that booty. She's showing her little thigh. She's showing them cleavage, She started to reveal herself even the more towards the end. So me saying that wasn't far-fetched. It wasn't hard for anyone to see it. But I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this relationship was built to fail from the beginning. It was set up to fail from the beginning. It was never going to work. How many of you guys have been where Devon has been? Where you try to fit a person to something they never could be. Where you try to put a square peg in a round hole. Where you try to form and conform this person to be this perfect ideal image of a wife, of a husband, of a mate. You have this idea in your head of what you really, really want and what you really desire, but you're chasing after something that's not that. As I stated before, Devon is a minister, a man of God, someone who has a certain image. And honestly, I love Devon for the most part, but sometimes he come across as a little fake. Sometimes he come across a little inauthentic, as if he's putting up a performance of some sort. Most people, if they can deal with it, they deal with it on your end. Like, you could be that. You go ahead and be that fake guy. You go ahead and put on that image. You go ahead and show face. As long as that don't come over to me, as long as I can continue to be who I am, I don't got no problem with you being who you are. But that expectation didn't just come from Devon's lifestyle. It came from Devon's followers. See, what happened, I'm not just speculating, this is true, that people began to tell MEAGAN, hey, this is where you need to look. Because of who Devon is, this is who you need to be. And this started immediately as soon as they announced their engagement. I don't know if you guys remember this.
And I saw you and you had your breast shown. So we're going to cover up, right? We're going to cover
Wait a
up.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No. No. That is not what we're here for. She's not going to cover up. She's going to wear what she want to wear. In the name of Jesus.
And kudos to Devon for checking this lady who was dead wrong for doing this at the moment. However, we know this was just a precedent for what was set to come. There will be several more moments of Devon having to check people. There will be several more moments of MEAGAN having to be something that she's not in order to please people. There'll be several more moments where MEAGAN most likely had to question, hey man, what did I get myself into? That round hole is not comfortable for that square peg. MEAGAN's lifestyle, MEAGAN's career, the very essence of who MEAGAN is, was never built to be DEVON Franklin's wife. I asked the question earlier, have you guys ever been there? But let me be honest, I definitely have been there. My first wife was somebody who I tried to conform to be a certain way. There's no shade on her, but we come from two totally different backgrounds. I was a minister, church boy, born and raised in the church. I'm at the church 4 to 5 days a week. And I'm asking her as my girlfriend and as my fiance to totally come into this world and be my first lady, so to speak, or to be the lady that when people see me, they see you and they see a good image of you. But she was totally different. Yeah, her parents were Christians, but she didn't come from a church background whatsoever. But she conformed. She completely adapted to what I was trying to do and what I was trying to accomplish and the career I was pursuing at the time. But it never worked. She never felt as though she fit in. She wasn't really fully accepted by several people. And then that will always bring turmoil to our relationship and issues to our relationship. But we would end up arguing because of certain things she would wear, certain things she would say, certain things that people would tell me and I would relate to her. It just would not work. And it definitely doesn't work when you, as the person that's trying to bring them into your world, are not authentic. The main issue was I wasn't who I should be. The main issue was I was trying to portray being the perfect minister, portray being the perfect man in front of church people and not being actually who I was. If I was the guy who I am now, maybe she could have shown herself and people could have fully accepted who we were. And that's why I truly think that's going on with Devon. He probably shows a different side of himself to her than goes into the world or goes to the church and shows that side of himself. And she's like, man, I can't put up with this. I can't put on this facade every time I leave my house. And you can kind of see that with her current dating choices. She's dating a guy who's going through a huge scandal right now. Her and Jonathan Majors have been shown in court together. She would rather be with somebody that's in a scandal right now than to be with somebody who's fake, is my speculation, of course. Come on now. But at the end of the day, you see what she's choosing. She want a roughneck. From Megan's perspective, she'd rather be with a guy that's a roughneck or that has allegations. And those allegations aren't about him being a little bit too rough. She'd rather be with somebody who's totally opposite than Devon. Because maybe those years of being with Devon was so boring for her. Maybe that life was just totally opposite of who she is and who she wants to be. And she would much rather be in the arms of a man that could potentially even hurt her physically. Devon filed for divorce, just like I filed. But that filing, from my speculation, was merely to get her attention. He was hoping like, man, I'm starting to see these signs of you dressing more provocative and doing things that you know that are outright against the life that we're trying to live. What's going on? He was hoping that him filing would gather her attention and will be the thing that refocuses her to come back to him, to truly bring them back together again. This didn't work. That filing was actually the exit that she had been wanting. She didn't want to be in this life anymore. I don't think she truly understood the fullness of the life that she will be headed into. Then it became overwhelming. So the question is, did Meagan Good reject Devon Franklin? Yes, she did. However, Devon Franklin set himself up to be rejected by going into a marriage that you knew from the beginning was bringing two worlds and making them collide, and only one would survive. Meagan had to totally disregard who she was as a person in order to be married to Devon Franklin. How long do you believe that would last? How long do you think that she would stand for that? I know exactly what Devon is saying now. I know exactly how he feels right now. He feels rejected. He feels low. He feels like she did not accept him for who he is. But a part of you has to know that going forward, I can't put myself in that same position. I can't ask someone to go out of themselves to become someone else. I need to go after people and I have to find a wife that truly is what I need her to be already. And that's exactly what I did. First off, I knew going into my next marriage, I wanted to be completely myself, be 100% authentic. If you ask my wife, she may say I do that to a fault. You know, we'll leave that there. But I'm completely who I am. But number two, I wanted her to be completely who she is. There is an element as a man, of course, that you help to cultivate your wife to become the best version of herself. But it's not my position to change the very nature of who she is. If you are divorcee, you have faced this thing called rejection. They have totally rejected who you are. They have totally rejected your lifestyle. I recommend you do a couple things. The first thing, look at that lifestyle. Analyze and see if this truly is something that you are living in authenticity yourself. Is this truly who you are? Is this something that's breeding fruit into your life? And you should continue to do this or participate with this going forward. Number two, stop chasing things that aren't chasing you. What do I mean? If that lifestyle is what you're a part of, there should be a group of people within that lifestyle that are already participating with that you should be able to have access to. That's the people that you should connect yourself with. Within that community holds your future spouse. Going outside of that community and expecting somebody to conform to that, the success rate in that is very, very low. And by success, I mean long-term marriage. They say opposites attract. And in some ways they do, but it can't be things that change the very nature of who you are. There have to be more commonalities than there are not. Otherwise, you're going to be opposite attracting like magnets. You're just going to be stuck together. Instead of thriving together, you will be stuck. The pain and the agony of separation and divorce is 100% real. But there's so much value in that pain. If you can learn from this and never face that again and never put yourself in that situation again, that's the value. The growth, the way you learn, the expertise that you receive on the other side of that pain, make it worth it. The divorce rate gets higher after the first marriage. The second marriage is higher. The third marriage is higher. The reason for that is typically because people get married the same way. You have the same mindset. You have the same aspirations. You approach people the same. Nothing changes about you going into that second or third marriage. I'm putting a charge on you right now to change. I'm putting a charge on you to fully address what it is you are struggling with, and don't do it again. The best thing Devon Franklin could do is get with Yolanda Adams. No, I'm joking, but get with someone that's already in your world, that can relate to you totally, and that can be fully immersed in what you're doing. They're not going to reject you or what you do. They're going to fully accept everything about you, and you can do this. Devon Franklin can do this. You can do this. Be authentic, be completely who you are, and find you someone that loves everything about who you are. I'm rooting for Devon Franklin, and I'm most definitely rooting for each and every one of you.